Welcome to Know and Awaken Your Soul's Unlimited Potential. My name is Eva and I'm so happy to have you here with me. And today we're going to be continuing the Akashic series. So I'm going to be doing part 2. I'm going to be doing a deep dive into what your soul is, how your soul was designed, what gifts we were each given as souls, and how you can actually leverage these gifts to create the kind of life that you want from yourself. You know, health-wise, money-wise, relationship-wise, right? Because that's basically how Source created us. He created us to leverage these gifts in order to create the kind of life that we want for ourselves. So I'm gonna be doing a deep dive into that, and I'm also gonna be sharing a bit about my work, which is soul realignment work, which incorporates the use of the Akashic records, right? The Akashic records to help you heal from all these blocks and restrictions that have been keeping you stuck for years and years, attracting the same kind of people, attracting the same kind of situations over and over again, keeping you in a loop, keeping you stuck, keeping you in a state of lack. Again, in the 3 areas: health, money-wise, relationship-wise. So basically, soul realignment work, I'm going to be explaining how the soul realignment work can help you really tap into your highest and best potential. So again, make sure you tune in until the end of the video to catch that if you're interested, right? So let's go. Let's get started. First thing, what is the soul? You know, someone recently asked me this, and I love this question because this is something I think all of us assume that we have the answers to it, right? If I was to ask you right now, what is the soul, right? People have different definitions of it. Like, we all have an inherent idea of what the soul is, but we really can't put it into words, right? So here's what I'll tell you. The soul is essentially the core of your being. It's who you really are. It's the one thing about you that has remained unchanging all the way from birth, all the way since you got out of your mother's womb. That thing that is inside of you that has never changed, it has remained constant. That thing inside of you that basically is going to continue existing way after you let go of your physical, your emotional, and your mental body once you pass on. It's that thing that continues existing. I think religion describes it as, you know, life after death. What part of you continues to exist after death? It's not your physical body. You don't get to carry your physical body to the afterlife. You don't get to carry your mental, emotional body to the afterlife. What is that? That essence that continues existing way after this, we pass on, right? That's basically your soul. Your soul is the core of your being, and everything else revolves around the soul, right? Your physical body revolves around the soul. Your emotional body revolves around the soul. Your mental body revolves around the soul. Essentially, once you hack who you are at soul, everything else, it kind of has like a ripple effect towards so many areas of your life, okay? And that's why I'm so passionate about this and getting people to align to who they are at soul level, because your soul is everything, right? Leave alone the cars, the money, whatever you have on the outside. Who are you really? Who you are is your soul, and you need to hack who you are at soul level in order to be able to really leverage everything about you to create the kind of life that you want for yourself, okay? So that's basically how I describe a soul to you. And I'd love to know your description about the soul. So do comment down below. What do you think the soul is? What, in your own words, how will you explain the soul to someone who's never had that concept? Like, I'd love to hear your explanation for that, okay? So that's part 1. Part 2, how is the soul designed? How are we all created by God, okay? Basically, we look at the soul. The soul is made up of certain building blocks, which we call energy centers. Okay, each soul was created by God to contain these energy centers, right? These energy centers are basically how we're designed to receive vital force energy. And if you're not aware of this, basically vital force energy is what we need to exist in our physical form. Everything about us is energy, right? 99.99999%, I think, is actually energy, right? And the rest, the 0.001 now, is the physical aspect that we see. But who you really are is actually energy, right? So this vital force energy that we need to kind of like hold you in integrity to create these physical things that we see, that vital force energy comes from God or source, whatever you resonate with, right? And how God created us is that we were created to receive this vital force energy through particular energy centers contained in our souls. Okay, so if you can see the diagram behind me, and let me apologize for this. I am not an art anything. I am not gifted in this, and I'm gonna be doing a deep dive into divine gifts for each soul, right? So that you can understand that this is something I've never been gifted at, and I'm okay with that, right? Because I know the people who are gifted at drawing, and I'm okay with that. Like, that's the beauty of it. We're designed differently, right? Okay, so forgive my drawing. I'm just gonna start by saying that, and this was just to help you really understand how we're designed, right? So if you were to look at this and assume that this entire thing was your soul, right? So there are 8 major energy centers, okay? So the 8 centers, right? There's one particular center where we were all designed by God to receive the vital force energy in, right? And it's the one that we're mostly abundant in. It's the one that receives the most vital force energy from source, right? So it's basically like 50 to 60% of your entire soul. Okay, and that's why like I have this in the drawing, like it's the biggest part over here, right? We call that the primary energy center. That's basically how you're supposed to receive vital force energy, right? And then the other 7 energy centers, all of us have different aspects of these energy centers in our soul, all varying to different degrees, right? Okay, but they're very, I will say they're very minimal. They're still there, they're still part of us, but they're very minimal, okay, because that's not how we're designed to receive vital force energy. So we still contain aspects of all of it. It's only that one particular center contains most of it, okay? That's how I want you to look at it. Now, let me just explain what energy centers are, because I think there's a lot of description about what energy centers are out here, right? Most people will actually tell you that an energy center is like a chakra, right? Chakras, if you've heard of chakras, like the 7 chakras, right? And what I'd say to that, the chakras are an embodied version of the energy centers. So it's not everything, right? They're like the physical aspect of your energy centers. So your energy centers is everything. It's who you are as soul, and kind of like to have it reflected on a physical level. Now that's reflected through the chakras. Okay, so it's not the same thing, right? Some people could also tell you that energy centers are, emanations of energy in our nervous system. Okay, so for this particular soul realignment work I'm going to be talking about, we're not going to be looking at those different descriptions. I want you to look at what an energy center is. It's basically building blocks for the soul. Okay, I hope you're with me until there. Okay, so we're all designed to receive vital force energy through one major particular energy center. And what's the importance of these energy centers? They contain our divine gifts. Okay, so God didn't just create you and just put you, incarnate you as a soul and tell you like, now go ye and figure out how you're gonna exist for the rest of your life. No, he did that. He created us and he gave us gifts to help us on our journey as souls. Gifts we can actually leverage to create the kind of life that we want for ourselves. Okay, so he gave each soul a particular gift, and that's why like this particular center is more prevalent in the soul, because that's where we're each divinely gifted at. And there are different type of gifts out here, and I'm not gonna be doing a deep dive into what they are, because if you want to know more, I don't want to give you the information that just, it's not gonna help, because you don't really need to know what all these energy centers are. You only need to know what your energy center is and what your divine gifts are, because that's the only information you need to create the kind of life that you want for yourself. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Okay, so each of these centers has particular gifts, right? But here's the thing, right? We're supposed to use these gifts to create the kind of human experience that we want for ourselves. And once we tap into these gifts, creating becomes much easier for us. Keep that in mind, okay? It becomes really easy for us. Our gifts that are contained in these energy centers they're things that we normally tap into unconsciously, because they're just part of us. We don't even think about it. They just come so easily for us. But compared to other people, and this is where it starts like getting tricky, right? compared to other people, we might be inherently gifted in something that comes naturally for us, but to others, it bamboozles their minds or whatever. Allow me to say that, like it's like rocket science for them. Sure, they can go and learn how to tap into that, but when they do that, it comes with a lot of struggle and a lot of suffering and a lot of effort, a lot of effort put into that in order to master that technique that comes easily for you, because inherently this is what you're gifted at. Like, for example, right, there are centers which are gifted in communication. So when it comes to writing, when it comes to speaking, when it comes to, you name it, anything to do with words, it comes so easily for them. So easily, because that's inherently who they are designed to be at soul level. For other people, they might be designed to love art, creating beauty, creating, any kind of fashion or whatever. Like, that's what they're gifted at. So when it comes to getting stylish, interior design or whatever, it comes easily for us, right? And here's why I'm saying that, because you can see my drawing. My drawing is a huge joke, right? It's okay, right? So the people who would actually bring so much beauty to this particular drawing, because that's inherently who they are created to be. But for someone like me who's not gifted in that, I have to take, like, I don't even know how many classes in order to tap into that gift. So many, right? And it's gonna take a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of my energy in order to be able to have that. But someone who's inherently gifted in the gift of, like, artwork, beauty and all that, it's gonna be so easy for them. Sure, they might have to take a couple of classes, but for them, because it's naturally inbuilt into them, it's gonna be so easy for them. And when they're now creating abundance, because now they're leveraging their gifts to create abundance, things become much easier. I mean easier. I don't mean that you will not have to take effort. You still need to make effort. You still need to take action, right, to create whatever you want. But it gets easier when you're leveraging your gifts. So that's what I want you to keep in mind. Okay. So the problem normally comes about for most of us, and a lot of the souls which are currently existing right now are not living aligned to who they are at soul level. And why is that? Because society has conditioned us to think differently, right? There's a whole romanticization when it comes to suffering, right? Like, people romanticize that, like, oh, I suffered for my art or whatever. Like, that's glorified, right? So when you're busy struggling to try and master something, that seems normal for most people, but it's really not supposed to be like that. Okay, and again, I'm not saying it's gonna be effortless. You still need to make effort, but it becomes easier when you're leveraging your gifts. Okay, so when society teaches you that, oh, I'm gonna tap into a certain area of expertise because I've seen a couple of people getting success from that, and then you forget that this might not be inherently your gift. Like, for example, I'll give an example. Like, you might look at an influencer who's literally living the life, getting endorsements, traveling the world, right? Has access to the most beautiful things, takes the most amazing pictures on social media. And you might look at that and say, like, whoa, I can do that, right? I can do that. Like, I can create my abundance through that. And then now you start doing that, and guess what? You don't get the kind of success that this person has. And for them, when you're looking at it from the outside, it kind of seems like it was so easy for them. But you know why it was easy for them? Because they're leveraging their gifts. They're living aligned to who they are at soul level. Okay? So, but when you have forgotten what you're inherently gifted at, and you start tapping into someone else's gifts, which is now these tiny little centers over here, if you can see them. When you start now accessing the gifts contained in this particular center and forget who you are, you're just creating more lack for yourself. Okay? And the one thing is that the vital force energy that comes from source, right, that you need to create, if you're not tapping into the major aspect of that to receive that, you're basically gonna be stuck in a lot of struggle, because the vital force energy that's being received in this particular center, it's so minimal. Okay, so creating abundance is gonna take so much work for you. So much work, so much struggle, just to be able to create the kind of abundance that this person who's already tapping into their divine gifts is able to do easily and effortlessly and create abundance for themselves. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind, that when you leverage your gifts to create the kind of life that you want for yourself, things become easier. It's not going to be a lot of struggle. It's not going to be a lot of suffering. You're still going to have to take action, right? So again, I really have to stress that, because I think there's also this notion that a lot of people want to do things and not, put in effort to them. No, that doesn't work. That is not how we're created. We need to take action to move from point A to point B. That's how we're designed. So you still need to take action. It's only that when you're leveraging your gifts, it becomes easier for you, okay? So, like I said, your divine gifts are things that come naturally for us, right? But for most people, we don't even have the consciousness that we have these gifts, or we're even using these gifts, because again, it's part of who we are. So, like I was saying before, we now start looking at other people and start envying them because we think that their gifts are better than ours. So, no, that's not the case. We're all perfectly created by Source. God doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make mistakes. If you're here for a reason. If you're watching this video, you're watching this video for a reason, right? So you were created for a purpose. There's a reason why you were created with the gifts you have. So when you start looking at your partner and or whoever, and start comparing yourself to, like, I want the life that they have, and you're forgetting your own gifts, guess what that creates? A lot of lack. And that's what I want you to keep in mind, right? Stop complaining, stop comparing yourself to other people, because again, you're divinely and uniquely created as you, okay? And your gifts are just as special as the next person, okay? No one is better than the other, okay? So the other thing I love for you to keep in mind when it comes to this divine gifts, it's the fact that, again, I was talking about looking at maybe someone else who's had success in their area and trying to emulate them. The other aspect could be that our divine gifts, our energy center basically, it might not be inherently something that we like doing, right? We could be gifted at, for example, artwork. Like, this is where, like, when it comes to drawing is so easy and effortless. I won't say effortless, it's easy for you, right, compared to someone else. But we might be gifted in that, but our inherent gift as a soul is maybe in communication, right? Like, that's where we're dividing. So if you want to create abundance, we need to tap into communicating more, okay? But what most people do, I'm gonna follow my passion. I'm gonna follow artwork because artwork is what moves me. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. If you feel more fulfilled by doing artwork or whatever it is to feel more alive or whatever, that's completely okay. The problem comes about, like I was saying before, when we start now concentrating all our energy, all our time, all our focus on this particular artwork that we're not divinely gifted at, okay, it's gonna take so much effort for us to ever create any kind of result from that. And you'll find people stuck for years and years trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? I've given my all to this passion of mine, and I'm not creating the kind of results I want for myself. Meanwhile, what your soul is divinely gifted at, which is now the communication, if you were to leverage that, maybe find a way to combine that with the artwork, maybe how you sell, how you show up on social media or something. If you were to now leverage those gifts in order to maybe pursue your passion, you find that things become easier. Because, like I said, if you tap into your divine gifts and use them to create the kind of life that you want for yourself, life doesn't have to be full of struggle. Okay, life doesn't have to be full of suffering. That's not normal, okay? I think we romanticize that because from olden ages, that's all we knew. We knew struggle. That's all we knew. That's all we saw around us. And in this day and age, I think we're just among the luckiest people like to live in this current era where we have access to so much information, so many facilities, so many people that were not available to us initially. And we need to start tapping more into that. The other thing is that when the people around us don't really understand who we are, okay, so sometimes when you're doing your energy center, when you're tapping into your divine gifts, it might not resonate with the people around you. So keep that in mind. Your family might not really understand who you really are, because again, we're all designed differently. Okay, so how I'm meant to show up in the world is not how your mother or your father or your brother or your sister is supposed to show up in the world. But what do most people do? The family will either pressure them to try and conform and follow certain lines and make certain decisions in order to fit into what, society or the family deems acceptable. And most people have been doing this for ages and ages, creating a lot of lack in their lives. Okay, that you're pressured to be like you, or maybe not even pressured by outside, even pressure coming from inside of you, because you so desperately want to fit in and you don't want to do anything that might make you stand out from society. So what do most people do? They're just gonna do things to conform, and by conforming they're still creating a lot of lack for themselves. Okay, so you really need to have awareness, and this is why I'm so passionate about bringing this work to people, this soul realignment work, because I realize the beauty, the gifts that I get to give people through this work, the kind of self-awareness, the kind of self-acceptance that you get to tap into. Because now when you know how you're divinely gifted, how you're supposed to show up in the world, right now, it won't matter when you see a certain celebrity or a certain person on social media or TV doing something, because now you know that's not my gift. Same thing with my artwork. Of course, I'm jealous when I see people draw so easily and effortlessly and tap into those aspects of their gifts. Like, yeah, of course, like jealousy, maybe it's part of human. I wouldn't say jealous. I'm not really jealous. I'd say like it's a gift that I admire in other people, that I'd want to incorporate into myself. But I know who I inherently am at soul level. I'm not gifted at artwork. So no matter how much work, how much struggle I put into that, it's gonna be so difficult for me to tap into this. So I just let it go and I accept that, you know what I'm gifted in, this person who's gifted in artwork, they don't have those gifts, and my gifts are special in my own unique way. And that's what I want you to keep in mind going forward, right? Like, we're designed differently, uniquely, and each of us is special in our own way. Okay, the other thing, and that I love to for you to know after this, it's the fact that tapping into your soul's purpose, right? Because I think this is something that a lot of people are trying to find, right? What is my soul purpose? Why did I come here, right? Why did I come here? A lot of people want to know that, right? Your soul purpose is basically for you to experience your own divinity. And how do you experience your own divinity? It's through creating. And how do you create? By using vital force energy from source to create the kind of experience you want for yourself. But how do you get this vital force energy? Through your energy centers that have your divine gifts. Thus, the divine gift is how you're supposed to create. It's how you're supposed to exist going forward. It's how you're supposed to show up in the world. Okay? So I want you to keep that in mind going forward. Okay, so I think I'm going to end there. And like always, I'm going to be sharing a bit about soul realignment work, right? But before then, in the next video, I'm really going to be diving deep into more of this, right? Like how we create our souls, what constitutes positive, negative choices for each soul, and how we basically create a lot of luck in our lives. Okay, so I'm really going to be doing a deep dive into that. I'm also going to be talking more about the type of souls which are in existence currently. Okay, so if you're curious about that, do make sure you tune in for the next video I'm going to be sharing, which will probably be I want to say a week from now, so make sure you tune in for that. And thank you so much for watching until now. I hope you resonate with everything that I've shared today. If you do, and if you're new to my channel, or if you actually like the kind of content I do share, do subscribe to my channel, and also click on the notification bell that's next to the subscribe button, right? So that you can be getting alerts for each and every time I share out a post. If you're actually curious about learning everything Akashic, I'm going to be doing more of these videos going forward. So make sure you subscribe so that you can be getting alerts for every time I share out the post, okay? And on to the last, which is my favorite part of this video, apart from sharing the information, of course. It's to share soul realignment work. Okay, so I'm a soul realignment practitioner certified, right? And I basically use the wisdom of the Akashic records to help you energetically heal from all your struggles, from all your blocks, from all the restrictions that you've created for yourself based on the choices that you made in your current life or even in your past life. Okay, so basically the soul realignment work is doing a deep dive into that to help you clear all this on an energetic level so that we uphold the integrity of your soul blueprint for you at a soul level, right? And basically the soul realignment work, this is what you will expect when you come for soul realignment work. Number one, we're going to be doing a deep dive into what you're divinely gifted at, what your particular energy center is, right? Because this is the information that a lot of people need to be aware of in the world in order to create the kind of experience they want for themselves. So we're going to be doing a deep dive into who your soul is designed to be, what your divine gifts are. We're going to be talking about your soul group, okay? And I'm going to do a video later on to really explain the concept of the soul group. It's inherently just basically where you were first incarnated to. And here's a bit of information for you that you might not know. Not all souls were created initially incarnated on earth, because I think that's the assumption for a lot of people. When we're created, we might have gone elsewhere. So if you're curious about that, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'll be sharing this video later on, right? Okay, so your soul group, we're going to be talking about where you currently are vibrationally. Vibration, I think, if you're here, I'm sure you're aware of this concept that you need to raise your vibration in order to manifest more of what you want. So you're going to be doing specific measurements for you to let you know where you currently are vibrationally and how you can actually be able to raise your vibration more in order to really manifest what you want. And the other thing, which is my favorite part about the Akashic records, soul realignment work that I do with my clients, it's that we get to do a deep dive into your blocks and restrictions. Your blocks and restrictions are basically created by all the negative choices that you've made in all your lifetimes, right? All those choices that you made to try and conform with society, live outside of your primary energy center, right? Forget who you were initially created to be. Forget how you were basically supposed to create, right? We've made so many mistakes, so many negative choices over and over again, and this create blocks in our souls. So with the soul realignment talk, we get to do a deep dive into what your soul story is, what particular choices, what mistakes that you made in the past that you're currently making right now, right? And how we can actually clear them and help you really accept or access your full potential as a soul. So if you're curious about that and you love to learn more, do connect with me down below on the description box. I share out my social media links, Facebook, Instagram. You can send me a message on both of them. I'll always respond to you. Or if you're ready to just say yes, that you're ready to awaken your highest and best potential, you're ready to tap into self-acceptance, self-awareness, clear all the limiting patterns that have kept you stuck, all those situations, negative situations you kept on attracting over and over again. If you're ready to say yes to healing in this kind of way, the link is down below on how you can book a soul realignment reading with me. And I really hope I get to see you on the other side. If not, see you on the next video. I'm gonna say bye for now. See ya.